Good morning, explorers. This is Steve, your ATL Sherpa from Explore ATL Tours. Doing some recon for one of my actually a couple of my upcoming tours, and I've seen this wall, but I've never stopped to read what's on this wall, and I finally just read it, and it took me a minute to figure it all out. But I'm gonna video this, and I'm gonna walk. This basically is, there's sort of two parallel narratives that are written on this wall. Go all the way down here. I'm on the corner, I think I mentioned, on the corner of Decatur and Central Avenue, Decatur Street and Central Avenue, which is just a couple, maybe 200 yards from the 0 mile post where the city began. But anyway, let me read this to you. The principal business area extends roughly from North Avenue southward to Mitchell Street and from Cortlandt Street westward to Spring Street. Within this section, gashed by parking lots and intricately threaded by narrow streets, are the hotels and tall office buildings that make Atlanta's jagged skyline. Here, flimsy wooden fronts go up overnight, scaffolding rises high, and riveters keep up their staccato drumming as the city is built and torn down and built again. I think the letters are missing from there, but I think that's what that meant to say. All right. The 5 parallel viaducts lie, railroad track lined by sheds and the stores of the former street level. In the sunless gloom of this underground Atlanta is a man's world of grimy flagmen and overalled workers who push baggage carts or drive mail trucks bumping over the cobblestones. And that is from Georgia, the WPA Guide 1940. Okay, I didn't see this this legend over here until just now. Wow. Okay, there's a lot on here. All right, so that was the first sort of narrative. Now I'm going to go back and read you the second parallel negative here in just a second. Man, there is a lot on this wall. So let me give me a second here. I'll walk back over to the beginning. I'd be very curious to know if anybody who's watching this video has ever stopped and walked along here and read this. I mean, there's not really that much around here that you would probably come to. Underground Atlanta is back over that way behind me, but there's not a whole lot going on there just yet. All right, so that's that narrative. Here's the next one. Okay, the Corporation for Olympic Development in Atlanta. Okay, that's just the name. Okay, here we go. Look at the top right there where it says, Governor Crawford did not believe that there would ever be a city here, and Colonel Long, they're talking about Stephen Harriman Long, the chief engineer of the Georgia Road, said that Atlanta would never be anything but a wood station. Okay, that's a quote. I see what that says. This is a series of quotes. Okay, here's another one. The reason why the streets are so crooked is that every man built on his land just to suit himself. Here's another quote. There were only a few that believed there would ever be a growing town here at all. Here's another quote. He said he did not care what they called the town, but was going to call the depot Atlanta, and he did so. and the freight all came marked Atlanta. And very soon, the town came to be known as Atlanta. See what I mean? It's just kind of hard to read because, part of the text is over there, and they just stop, and then they come over here and put the text in between that other text. It's kind of interesting. Here's another very interesting piece here. The dullness was broken by the coming of the Georgia Road. They're talking about the Georgia Railroad. And the first train reached us in September of 1845. It was an occasion of great excitement for the few people then living here. The coming of this train gave I'm not sure what happened to the rest of it. I think that's gone. But here's another one. Shabby buildings, house pawn shops, pool rooms, beer parlors, shooting galleries, and cheap merchandising establishments. Oh, okay. That was it. Gave way to house pawn shops. Okay, blah, blah, blah. All right. Herb doctors and fishmongers hawk their wares along the street, which crosses Decatur Street at the second story level. Okay. And then over here you've got a bunch of nicknames and sayings about Atlanta. The International City, the Gate City, Terminus, Olympic City, the City, Thrasherville, Too Busy to Hate, Terminus, Marthasville, Whitehall, Thrasherville, Phoenix City, Gate City, Olympic City, the City Too Busy to Hate, over and over. Okay, and then finally no, not the last one. Here's another quote. In 1924, there were over 10,000 black railroad workers in Georgia, more than in any other state. From 1828 to 1949, not a single black person found employment on a Class 1 railroad as a fireman, brakeman, trainman, or yardman. Here's the last one. The infant has become and is rapidly overcoming the obstacles to its growth and making the surrounding country and neighboring villages all tributary to its prosperity, permanency, and celebrity. Wow, that's interesting. I have to say, the design of this, the way they laid everything out. So anyway, I am here doing by the way, if you're wondering where I'm at, right through there, just about 100 yards under this tunnel. This is the Central Avenue Viaduct, and just literally like 100 yards from me, straight through under that tunnel right there, in that parking deck, is the 0 mile post, or it's now the replica of the 0 mile post. But that was where the city of Atlanta began. And right over here, across the street here, where this what is that? Walters place is, and right over in here is where the Georgia Depot, the original Georgia Depot, the main train depot, passenger depot was, and this is what was called, this area here was called Courthouse Square, and this is essentially where Atlanta began. So I'm here doing some recon for a couple tours. I've got one coming up on February 5th, which is called Black Leaders of Atlanta. And we'll be coming near here. We're not actually going to be walking right through here, but we'll be coming close here to honor, I think we're going to see 12 of the 21 black leaders that are honored in my Black Leaders of Atlanta project that I published last year. So that's going to be a cool tour. That one's almost sold out, by the way. There's only a couple of tickets left for that. And then on February 13th, I think it is, that Super Bowl Sunday, but early in the morning, like at 10 o'clock in the morning, I'm doing another brand new tour that I announced today to my subscribers of my podcast and newsletter, which is called ATL Sherpa. I'm doing a very interesting tour called Experience ATL, and that will start down in this area. And I'll talk a little bit about the history of Atlanta, and then we jump on the MARTA train and go up to Inman Park. That's going to be a really, really cool tour. So if you can come on that, I highly recommend it. That's going to be a lot of fun. And you can get more information on my podcast and newsletter site, which is atlsherpa.com. Or you can go to my Eventbrite page and take a look at it there. Anyway, hope you're having a great day. Have a good weekend. This is Steve, your ATL Sherpa.